The Tucker Carlson interview on Full Send.
Yes, I saw. I didn't watch the entire thing, but I saw a few clips of it when he's talked about how much he regrets supporting the war in Iraq. That's what you're referring to. Yeah. And I believe him. I think he really means it.
I believe him too.
Sometimes there's people like John McCain types who go or Hillary Clinton. They'll admit, okay, it was a mistake, but then they still support every subsequent war after that, and it doesn't see. Whereas Tucker is like, I'm so ashamed that I supported this. I'll never forgive myself for it, and has opposed every subsequent war after that. And I'm like, okay, I think this guy really believes it.
He's different than people want to pretend he is. First of all, the guy was a deadhead.
Yeah.
You know that? He used to follow the dead around?
Yeah.
So for sure dropped acid.
That'd be my guess.
How else can you enjoy the music?
I think it's legally required that you've taken acid at least once if you're going to enjoy the Grateful Dead. I'm not sure. I don't know. I haven't brushed up on the statutes.
Comes alive to LSD, according to my friends who've been there and done that.
It's really interesting what the public perception of Tucker Carlson is, or particularly how polarizing he is to people, that it's almost like they're describing a different person than he actually is.
Right.
I think he was the most interesting person in cable news, the most thoughtful, most intelligent. Like, he was really I don't agree with him on anything. You know, on my podcast, we used to do a segment, or I had just done it so many times that we started joking about it being a segment that we called Contra Carlson, because I was just disagreeing with him. Like, he had all these economic ideas that I completely disagree with. And I disagree with a lot of stuff he said, but he was like such a, like the lone voice in like really the corporate press who was completely opposed to the military industrial complex, completely opposed to big pharma and all of the COVID insanity. It was really good on like speaking up about a lot of really important issues that you would think like a good leftist would at least appreciate, that he's good on that issue, you know? And some of them did. This is what he's the guy who's having Glenn Greenwald on his show. You know what I mean? He's the guy who's having Aaron Matei and Jimmy Dore.
Yes.
These aren't right wingers. Yes. He's having he's having them.
A lot of left wingers.
And it was very interesting. He wasn't a partisan. He would be completely against the Republican Party, was viciously critical of the Republican Party, hates the Republican establishment. And even the stuff I've seen so many people be like, he bought into Trump's claims that the election was stolen. And I'm like, I don't know, dude, do you watch him? Because I watch his show, and that's actually not he was the guy. He took a lot of heat from right-wingers that immediately following the election of 2020.
What Joe Rogan is for podcasts and Tucker is for cable TV.
I agree.
Period, right?
Agreed.
Okay. So at this point, you've made money. You have a lot of haters. You have a lot of fans. You have a lot of true believers. You know what you want and what you don't want. You're living a life where, you know, the way you're doing everything, your podcast, your show, you get to dictate your terms, and you're seeing what's going on in politics today. And this is the part you have to be thinking about. And I've seen this happen, different types of things to different people. There's one group that you see people at that age that they've been disappointed and hurt so many times that they trust fewer and fewer and fewer and fewer and fewer people in their life, and you almost become cold. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by cold is, I mean literally, you become cold. Nothing is attractive when somebody says something to you, because all you think about is, that's also what they said to me.
Yeah.
That's also what that guy said to me. Mm-hmm. And that's also what this person said to me. Bullshit, you're just like the other person. Mm-hmm. But it sounds good. It sounds convincing. So you're harder to convince, you're harder to crack, you're harder to persuade. You know, the typical things that maybe got you excited. Hey, we're going to pay you $2.5 million a year for 5 years. They're like, what can't I buy with the current life that I have? Everything. But I do think to some people, when this happens, you sit there and you ask yourself, I'm really concerned about what's going on with America. I'm really concerned with what's going on with certain things during COVID. A lot of stuff was exposed. You either become such a deep, true believer that your fight is not for a real reason. Mm-hmm. You're a parent, you have all these other things that's going on with you. I think Tucker's a true believer today, and there's 100%. A part of him that he's sitting there saying, I give all this stuff to Fox for all these years. I gave you the number one show. I'm not number 2. I'm not number 4. I'm not number 8. You know what it takes to be number 1? Let me tell you what it takes to be number 1. You have to read every story. You have to read every book. You have to follow what everybody else is doing. You have to study history books. You have to go do hours on top of hours. On Saturday, while everybody's kicking it, golfing, you're reading articles. On Sunday morning, while everybody is kicking it, relaxing, sleeping in, you're reading articles. The number 1 of any space does things that number 2 doesn't do, or 3 or 5 even dreams about. This is a guy that's willing to do the work, willing to put in the legwork, is smart, is intelligent, is funny, is sarcastic, and is still young at 53. And you're now sitting there saying, what do I do next? Well, if he's a crusade guy and he loves America as much as he shows that he loves America, I think the next phase may be he has 1 or 2 choices. Do I chase the billions? Do I go make a few $100 million? Because he hasn't made a few $100 million yet. He hasn't made that kind of money before. Do I go after that? Or do I kind of step up right now, run for office? Or do I go somewhere, get equity? What do I do? Or all these people that I've had to answer to, maybe I'm going to do my own thing today, and I'm going to build my own Fox. I'm going to build my own CN. These are the things that he's thinking about himself. But he can go any of those directions, and he'll succeed. But you better believe, a guy that's going to be pitching him today, it's not going to be the pitch from the movie Air. It's going to be a very different pitch.